Arranging the legs as we always do. The front shin is parallel to the front of your mat as you can. And then just wiggling the feet along a little bit so they're underneath the knees. And then starting to travel inwardly. What I was thinking of yesterday was the celebration of Easter, and in the pagan tradition, how it was a celebration of springtime, of renewal, of rebirth, of emergence. I remember as a child always being a little confused as to what kind of eggs and baby chicks and baby rabbits had to do with Jesus dying. And it's because of the two celebrations, as it were, kind of being amalgamated into one. There was lots of stuff in the pagan tradition that got brought into the Christian celebration of rebirth. And so I think, for me, this time, which although is very odd and very strange, it's given me a sense of space to understand more of how I am and how I operate, and also space to notice inside of me, because I'm not rushing around so much. This is what our class is about this morning. So it's emergence. So feeling both sit bones, the sides of your feet, pushing down into the earth. There's a little poem I was going to do. Turning light into food, we still might feed the dark thing in us that grows away from the light, until against all sense we mysteriously flower in the other direction. So as you push lightly into the fingertips, starting to lengthen your spine, so working through your body to expand your internal space. Quietly each spring, things in the plant world start growing slowly towards the light, while their roots finger their way underground. So in this shape, where are your roots? How are your roots growing, expanding? But once breaking the surface, the most amazing thing happens again and again, without any sound. The exposed thing growing towards the light stays alive by turning light into food. We've all learned about this. It's called photosynthesis, the process by which leaves turn sunlight into sugar, which feeds their roots. And then the roots, once nourished, make the stems and leaves grow further. So what is it that you need to nourish yourself in order for you to grow? Becoming aware of your breathing, this is one thing that we do need to nourish us. And just an awareness of your inhale and exhale, without any judgment, noticing how deep, expansive, or how contracted your breathing is. Then bringing the palms of the hands together. And we'll take our chant of coming from darkness to light. Exhaling on the breath. Inhaling together. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityomam Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityomam Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityomam Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Just bowing your head to your fingertips. And then gently lifting. So then we come over onto your knees. If you have bricks, then grab your bricks. So extended child, the knees just wide enough to hold your rib cage. And then all the weight sinking down into the heels. So put something like a blanket or cushion if you can't quite reach. Okay? So you want to feel a sense of heaviness, connectedness here. And then extending the arms forwards. And lengthening the underneath of your body, so right from the pubic bone to the heart, to the sternum, all the way through to the collarbones, extending that line along your mat, which will then encourage the back line of the body to also expand. So you're feeling your roots at the base of you. So your sit bones, your fronts of your feet, your knees, your shins, and expanding your roots. And then extending, growing, expanding the stem of you, as it were, sliding the shoulder blades apart from one another. And then being aware of your breathing in this shape. And how it nourishes each part of you. And then slowly coming up onto all fours. Move the hands forward slightly, tuck the toes under, and push back, downward facing dog. And then from here, bend the knees slightly, so you can really extend the spine. Try and lift your sit bones up, and then push front of thigh to back of thigh. You're trying to find length. There's a groundedness down through the feet. Then coming down onto the knees. And then we're going to come over onto the backs. So if you have the strap, we're just going to work a little bit with the legs. So making sure that the pelvis is level. So you want to draw your, if we're taking the right leg up in the air, the right sit bones going towards the end of your mat. Straightening the arms, but keeping the whole of your back on the ground. So notice if you're lifting your rib cage too much. So you've got your roots down through the part of you that's touching the ground. And then inhale, have a sense of the heel lifting up as you exhale, drawing the leg towards you. But making sure that you're not hiking up, shortening on this right side of the body. So inhaling, lengthening, exhale, drawing a little bit closer towards you. Okay. So push front of thigh to back of thigh here. Bianca, can you back the leg off a little bit and then push front of thigh to back of thigh a little bit more? Ah, yes, look. And Richard, back it off a little bit and then push front of thigh to back of thigh. So, yes, look. So you really need to keep the legs straight, everyone. So it doesn't matter quite how close the leg is, it's more how straight you can get. And then slowly extending the opposite leg out away from you. And now can you push front of thigh to back of thigh on that? So what we're doing is we're looking at so the external body, but also the internal body. So the external body made up of like the skin and the muscles that are closest to the skin. The internal body, as in the movement of the energy through the body. Okay, and then from here you're going to slowly lower that leg down, taking your time. So notice what happens in the rest of your body as you lower the leg. And then awareness on both legs. How does one feel to the other? And then bending both knees and lifting the opposite leg up. Left leg lifts. Again, adjusting, arranging the bones of yourself so that you're balanced. And then feeling your connection to the ground. And then as you inhale, lifting up through the heel, as you exhale, the leg is going towards you. So think about exploration. Like, where is the most tight place on your legs? Because we automatically assume that it's the hamstrings, but it might not be. It might be the back of the knee, it might be the calves. So we're looking at not being goal orientated. And then extending the opposite leg away from you. And notice how that affects the leg that's up in the air. We want an internal rotation on both legs. So you're rotating towards the midline. Rachel, push front of thigh to back of thigh more. On the leg up in the air. you're all hopefully engaging the muscles up the front line of your leg. You're drawing through shin, knees, quads. And then slowly lower that leg down. And again, an awareness of how it feels in both legs now. So energetically, as well as physically. And then from here, just lifting both arms up over the head. So if you have a block, this is really good. So you can have it flatten and you're holding it between the heels of the hands, the lengthening out through the legs. You're inhaling up, exhaling back. So wiggle down the mat. So if you haven't got a block, then just having the arms shoulder width apart, just the block gives you a little bit more feedback. You're exhaling back. And then holding it here, can you push out through the heels of the feet, the soles of the feet, so you're flexing your toes towards you. Noticing as you do that, what happens to the rest of your body. So where are you feeling the length more? What is this doing? And then without changing anything, you're just going to turn the feet, the soles of the feet towards the floor, the ground, and notice what happens then. And then turning the toes towards you. So what you might notice is that there's more of a connection with the back line of the body as you do that. And then as you flex the feet the opposite way, soles of the feet towards the ground, there's more of a connection or expansion of the front line of the body. You might also notice what happens as you fit from one to the other, like the awareness around the rib cage. And then coming up onto a pause, move the hands forward slightly, tuck the toes under, push back down, closing dog. Then the knees to find the length through your spine, and then straightening both legs. And noticing what this downward dog feels like compared to the first one. So what has nourished you to perhaps go a little bit deeper into this shape or access something a little bit more? So another part of the reading, the smallest plant life in spring, reveals to us both the challenge of being in spirit in human form and the quiet courage necessary to grow inwardly. This is our deepest calling, how to turn light into food, coming down into a forest, and then coming back into extended child again. So it's like what for me my yoga practice brings or helps to bring is more of a sense of being aware of the internal workings of myself. But in order to do that, I need to slow down. So from here, extending the hands out onto the blocks or onto fingertips. And again, you're lengthening the front of your body. which encourages the back of the body to expand as well. So looking for equal length, just as you were doing when you were lying on the ground just a minute ago. So feeling the heaviness of your roots down through your sit bones. And so when we were in class, sometimes I put a sandbag on the back of the pelvis. Seeing if you can almost feel that, a sense of that weight. Then can you start to move your bricks around or your fingertips around to the right? So but without becoming light on your opposite sit bone, or sorry, the same sit bone, the right sit bone. So seeing how far you can extend on the left side of the body, rooting the left sit bone down, expanding on the sideways, expanding through the rib cage, the outside of the arm, breathing more deeply into that lung, left lung. And then bringing the hands back to center, extending out. Is there any difference between left and right side? And then you're starting to travel around to the opposite side. So remember, both sit bones are rooted. Especially the right sit bone now. You're exploring the expansion on the right side of the body, all the way through the side of the torso, as well as the outside of the arm. And then releasing, bringing the hands back to center, coming up onto all fours and pushing back down facing dog. So now as you bend your knees and lengthen the spine, is there a little bit more openness? Has anything changed? So we're using downward dog as like a baseline to explore. And then coming down onto the knees. Okay, so have you all got a blanket you could use? Or otherwise you'll have to roll up the mat a little bit. So I'm just going to grab a blanket. Okay, so you're going to roll this up a little bit. So you've got to roll something up so it's kind of that kind of maybe a little bit more. If you're using your mat, then I guess about a third of the way. Okay, you want something that looks a little bit like this. Of course, it depends on the thickness of your blanket. I've just realised, if you've got a very thin blanket, you might want to roll it all the way up. It's quite chunky. Okay, then what you're going to do, so you're going to come up into kneeling and you're going to put the blanket right in the back of the knees. Want to poke it right the way in, and then you're going to sit back. Got it right at the back. Okay. And then depending on how your calves are, this is either going to actually unmute you all. So I can't hear anything. You know, some of you might be like this, but I want you, as much as you're able to sit back as if you were sitting and as if you were kneeling. Okay? And then lengthening the spine. And rather notice what your tendency is when faced with some form of stress or discomfort. Do you clench everything and wait until it goes away? Do you disappear somewhere thinking about many other things until it's time to come out? We have many strategies to deal with discomfort or stress, including wriggling is another one. If I wriggle a lot, it takes my mind off of it and it slightly loses sensation around. So can you be very still? And can you expand into the experience? You anchor your knees together. And the more you expand, the more you soften, the more you will release. Okay, so we're going to come out in a minute. Don't move yet. But we're just moving the rolled up blanket down a fraction. So it's just at the base of your calves now, and you can sit back again. This may or may not be worse. And again, just allow yourself to expand into the sensations you're feeling. And releasing. Okay. And then again, pushing back down facing dog. So from a proprioceptive sense, the proprioceptive sense monitors changes in our muscles, our tendons, our joints. So what has happened in your legs now, because we've helped nourish perhaps the hamstrings and the calves now. And then release. And then just sitting back into kneeling, bringing the hands back, and you're going to lift the knees as high as you can. Spreading open across the collarbones. So the knees are together, and you're just lifting as high as you can. So for some of you, it might be literally like a centimetre or two off the ground. You're just going to see if you can lift. This is stretching along the shins, the fronts of the feet. You might even find if you have more availability that you can come down onto the elbows as you lift. And then slowly releasing. Okay, and then our favourite tucking toes under. So nourishing our roots, basically, so from the pelvis downwards. So it's easier if you come forward. So if it's excruciating, with the toes tucked under, come forwards a little bit, but you're working your way to be upright. And again, it's how much can you expand into the experience of the sensations. Can you find the still inner center and not get caught up in the whirlwind that is happening around you? And release. I'm in this flat. Okay, and again, pushing up, downward facing dog. And then from here, you're going to bend both knees and then just straighten one leg as you exhale. Bend both knees, straighten the opposite leg. But you're not moving your pelvis around. So you're literally straightening one leg then the other. And have a look at you. There's no jiggling about. Richard, see if you can take the sit bone back and up a little bit more. Yes, better. Zoe, lengthen the spine a little bit more. And Vicky, try and get the sit bone back and up. And then finally straightening both legs. And then from here, we're going to come forwards into plank. So finding your roots through not only your hands, which your fingers are spread, but also through the ball, through the feet. And then as we transition into plank, can you push into the heels as if you were pushing into a wall? So the weight goes back into your roots. The legs are active, so you're pulling up through the shins, the knees, the quads. You're putting your belly towards your heart, so it draws up rather than sagging. So you want to not hang off the shoulders, to push against the earth, and the gaze is slightly forwards. That's it. Take the front of the pelvis towards the heart more. Michelle, drop the pelvis more. And now as if somebody were pulling your tailbone, pull back through downward facing dog. And again, come forward into plank. Take the gaze slightly forwards and push up in between the shoulder blades. And then exhale, downward facing dog again. Okay, inhale, come down onto the knees, flatten the shins. And now as you inhale, look forward, spread the collarbones. As you exhale, push up in between the shoulder blades and really push up. Now how much can you round your upper back? And then inhale, look forward, spread the collarbones. Exhale, round. So it's like you're trying to lift your shoulder blades off of your back. And then inhale, forwards. Exhale, rounding. And then hold it here. Draw your navel towards your spine. Draw your chin towards your sternum. And it's almost as if you want your pubic bone and your nose to touch. Really pushing up. Okay, and release. And then move the hands forward, slightly tuck the toes under, push back down the dog. So from here, coming forwards back into plank again. So firing up the legs, pushing the weight back into your roots. Drawing up through shins, knees, quads, so that the roots are strong. And then drawing the pelvis, front of the pelvis towards the heart, belly towards the heart, and then having a sense of still pushing up in between the shoulder blades. And then taking the gaze forward slightly. Hold it here, keep pushing. Vicky, lift the back of the thighs. Sue, push up in between the shoulder blades a little bit more. And now exhale, push back, downward dog. Then look forward. You're going to stare and walk both feet forwards. And separate the feet a little bit. Bend the knees, drape yourself down over your thighs. You're trying to connect with the thighs as much as you're able to. Okay. But at the same time, you're trying to turn the sit bones up. It's not like you're in this shape. You're turning your sit bones up, turning them up, turning them up. Good. And then hold on to alternate elbows and just releasing the elbows towards the ground. And now, can you explore starting to straighten your legs? So can you start to push front of thighs to back of thighs and notice whether you can still keep this sense of connection with your thighs. So how straight can your legs become? Or as the legs straighten, is there a big distance that then happens? So just exploring in Uttanasana. Seeing if you can transition the weight towards the toes as you lift the sit bones up further. Fronts of the legs are fully engaged, shins, knees, quads. And then also noticing where your shoulders are in space. Have they dropped down near your ears? Or can you draw your shoulder blades towards your hips? Then bring hands onto hips. Lead with the heart coming all the way forward. Flat back. Good. Okay. So from here, you're going to take your, I'm just going to change the angle of this actually. Otherwise I haven't got a head. Okay, better. So from here, taking the, linking the hands, and then turning the palms away, and then spreading out through the palms of the hands. Noticing where you are through your roots. And then start to extend the arms up, being aware of your lower ribs. You lift. Noticing where your breathing is gone. I said our proprioceptive senses monitor changes in muscles and tendons, joints. Our intraceptive senses, our internal sense of our body, our physiological state of how the tissues are inside of the body. So how we are from an emotional space. Release the arms and then change the link on the hands. You've got the other little finger underneath and again spreading out. So as you lift the arms up, yes, there's a sense of where is my skeletal structure in space. There's a sense of the joints. But what is your, the sense of your nervous system from a place of flight and fight or being relaxed? Are there any emotions that are starting to bubble up? And releasing. Yeah. And then just coming to the front of the mat. This sense of drawing in, looking within in the dark, and then you then start to open the door towards the light. Let's just do a couple of rounds of Surya Namaskar. So inhale, circle the arms open and up. Exhale, releasing down, so honoring towards the earth. Inhale halfway, so possibly hands on shins. Exhale, step back, right foot deep lunge. So pushing forwards through the front shin, back through the back heel. Inhale, both feet together, plank. Exhale to the earth. Inhale, rising, Bhujangasana Cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Holding here for 3 breaths. So just exploring the downward facing dog. And then looking forward, step forwards with the right foot in between hands. So just help it along if it gets stuck. And then both feet together as you exhale. Inhale, circling the arms open and up. Exhale to the heart. And left side. Breathing in, extending. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, half, forward bend. Exhale, step back. Left leg, both feet together as you inhale. Plank, exhale to the ground. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths again, noticing your breathing. And then looking forward, step forward with the left foot. Inhale, both feet together. Exhale, hold down. Inhale, rising. Exhale to the heart. And 1 more round. So inhale, circling the arms open and up. Exhale, holding down Uttanasana, forward bend. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step back, right foot. Inhale, both feet together into plank. Exhale to the ground. Inhale, rising. Exhale, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. 3 breaths. Inhale, stepping forwards with the right foot. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, rising. Exhale to the heart. Last side, breathing in, extending the arms. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, left foot step back, lunge. Inhale, both feet together. Plank. Exhale to the ground. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So still trying to create as much length and space as you can. And looking forward, stepping forward to left foot into lunge. Exhale, both feet together. Inhale, rising. Exhale to the heart. Good. And then from here, just extending the sides of the body a little bit more. So coming into wide-legged stance, not super wide. And turning the right leg out. Okay, you may want, actually we'll have hands on shins. And then take the back heel out a little bit. So rotating the front thigh so that the knee is tracking towards the center toes. Okay, and you want to rotate the back thigh out. And then lengthening the sides of the body. So you want to lift the arms up and you're turning your navel towards the left. Opening the arms wide and extending from the heart through to the fingertips. And then start to lean out over the front leg as you pull this back, sit bone back towards the back end of your mat. You're anchoring down strongly through the front foot, through the ball of the foot. You're pulling up through your shins, your knees, your quads. And extending, extend, extend, extend. So how much length can you get on the underside of the body? And then just allow the arm to release and place it onto the leg wherever it happens to go. So for you might be up higher if the hamstrings are tight. Okay. And then lifting the top arm up. And now can you start to rotate navel and heart towards the sky? And you still got external rotation on both legs. Find your roots down through your feet. And now from here, can you bring the arm down in front of you so it's horizontal to the earth, and then sweep it over the head, and now extend on that top line of the body. So you're looking for more expansion on right from the outer hip, all the way through this side of the body, and then all the way on the arm. Keep extending, keep rotating heart towards the sky. And then drawing that arm down in front of you, and using the arm to pull you back up. And then turn the feet. Just take a moment in, almost like a wide-legged Tadasana. And then we're turning the opposite way. The left foot turns out, and you want to lift the back heel and slightly turn it. It's not massive, but it helps us, the hips to turn a little bit more. Heel to instep alignment, so just check that. Okay. You've got both hips that are rotating out. Oh, sorry, not both hips, both thighs are rotating out from one another. Plug down through the feet. Extend the arms out. And you're reaching from the center of your heart through to your fingertips. Have a sense of the front of the pelvis drawing up towards the heart. And then as you start to lean out, you're pulling this left sit bone toward the back end of your mat so that this whole front leg starts to straighten. And you're leaning out as far as you can go. So you might be more upright. Yeah. And then just allowing the arm to release wherever it releases. Top arm rises, so Trikonasana. And then you're still extending from the heart through to the fingertips. Keep rotating both thighs away from one another. Plug down through your feet, so your roots need to be deep and strong in order for the stem to grow. Then bring the arm down horizontal to the ground, and then sweep it over the head. And then can you start to turn your navel and your heart towards the sky, but at the same time extend on that top line of the body. Bianca, take the arm, hand further up the leg. That's it. Now extend the underneath of your body. And Michelle, straighten both arms. So Michelle, bring that one back down horizontal to the ground and then sweep it close to your ear. Yes, better. And release. Now bring the thumb down and use your legs to bring yourself upright. Turn the feet and then come into standing Tadasana. So just take a moment to notice what has happened inwardly for you. So not just the proprioceptive senses with the changes in the muscles, but can you go a little bit deeper to the interoceptive sense of changes in your physiological state? So words that come to me are like there's a sense of spaciousness, a sense of having more strength available to me as an internal strength. Empowerment perhaps is a better word. I feel more connected to my body. I feel as if I'm living, I've inhabited more of my body space than my head space. Yeah. Okay, so from here, tree pose, Vrikshasana. So we're going to see if we can do this with a little bit of exploration through our balance. So you're going to root down strongly through the right leg. So even lifting the toes of the right foot, and then fanning the toes out and replacing them. So really find a sense of what is balance for you on that foot. You might even want to just move around on that leg a little bit through the ankle and notice what that feels like. And then you're trying to get as much stability as you can through this leg. The opposite leg, the right, we're going down to the right, the left leg lift. And then just allow yourself to explore. So can you move the leg around in space? So you might want to step it, almost as if you're stepping back, as if you're about to walk, bringing this foot forwards and up, and then back, stretch it back, forwards and up. So how does your other leg respond, the standing leg? So what is your balance like as you move slowly? You might want to take it out to the side. How does that affect your balance? And then eventually you're picking the leg up and then you're placing it wherever you can. So if you can get it high, do. Otherwise, you might be further down or even down here, depending on your flexibility of your hips. No matter what variation on the thing you're doing, you're looking at not breaking up. You see like the line of my top here is on a diagonal line. So I'm looking at pulling this sit bone down. This is what we were doing right at the beginning of the class. It's pulling the sit bone down towards the end of your mat, as it were, if you were working as hamstring. This knee is drawing down. Front of the pelvis is drawing up, tailbone down. And then you're looking at expanding this knee back, but not to take the whole body back, but you're staying facing forwards, and you're exploring how much openness you can create. And then when you're ready, you're lifting the arms up. You're looking at one point, so all your focus, your attention is on that one point in front of you. And release. Can you release and gently release the leg and take it back into Tadasana without. Okay. This is about control. So we're having to actually use our awareness to create more control. Rather than when we move fast, we take ourselves too much out of our body. When we move slowly, we have to, and the slower we go, as you're probably discovering in your lives at the moment, the more becomes apparent. So again, notice where your hips are, like the levelness of your hips here. And this is what we're trying to recreate, even though you're lifting the leg. So plugging down now through the left leg, and noticing whether that's straight for a start, because I just suddenly realized I had a slightly bent leg. So is it straight? Is it sturdy? Is it strong? Before you start to lift the other leg up, and then exploring as if you were walking. You can either bring the arms into play. So what is your sense of balance with the opposite leg as you move? What happens in the rest of your body? And then you might explore a little bit of rotation here. And then eventually bringing the foot up to nestle against either the inner thigh or onto the calf if you can't manage to get the leg up high enough. And then to get it to stay, you're pushing foot into whatever part of the leg you're resting on, and that part of the leg into the foot. And then leveling the hips, you're drawing down on this right sit bone, especially the outer hip, which is sucking in. And then can you start to draw the knee back? But this comes from a place of opening the inner groin rather than just turning your body. So the pelvis is staying square to the front. Front of the pelvis lifts, tailbone extends, or the back of the pelvis extends down. So you want the pelvis to be level. And then extending the arms up and exploring with having this one pointed focusedness, or you focus on one point. With the little myriad of movements that happen to keep you balanced. And can you now gently release, but without losing your stability? And then we're going to come down to the ground. And one last downward dog. No, actually, we'll do a forward bend first. So, grabbing a block or a blanket to sit on, coming to the front edge of your block. Pulling the flesh back away from the sit bones. So if you do have a brick or two, a nice thing to do is to put bricks in front of the feet, or even put the feet up against the wall is another option. No. Using your strap. What this does is it gives you feedback from your feet, your roots. So I'm putting the strap around the bricks, and I'm then able to push my feet into the bricks, so I know that my feet are level. And then extending my spine, both sit bones are rooting into the ground, and the balance on both sit bones. And now as I exhale, I'm trying to draw my sternum, my heart, towards or beyond my feet. But I'm keeping the spine long. If you're against something, you can push into that to give you a sense of feedback through your legs. So can you then pull out through shins, knees, quads to keep that length through the spine? through the legs. The other thing to notice is where your head is in space. So we have a tendency to, it's inbred in us to be so goal orientated. So we want to kind of, if we're stuck somewhere else, we find another way to lead from. So invariably we get stuck too much in our heads and we end up leading with our heads. So can you slightly retract the chin and lead with the heart instead? You're just going as far as you're able to, and this is about exploration. Zoe, bring the lower tips of the shoulder blades in more. So take your sternum forwards and up as if you're doing Sphinx pose. Okay, come more upright, Zoe. To back it off a little bit. More. Now draw the lower tips of the shoulder blades in, so draw your sternum forwards and up, and then lead with the heart, not with the head. And release. Good. Okay. And then we're going to push up one last time into downward dog. And so all the poses that you've done up until this point, if you can take yourself back to the first downward dog that you had, and then how does this feel in comparison to that? So we're not just talking about proprioceptive senses, so the changes in the muscle, the tendons, the joint, the tissue. We're also looking at interoceptive, so the internal sense of the body, physiological changes. So coming back into your downward dog and noticing the whole of your being in this shape. And release and come down. Does everybody have bricks or not? If you have bricks, wave them at me. Okay, so Zoe and Sue, are you the only ones that don't have bricks? Okay. Let me set the others up and then I'll give you, what you two can do is actually roll up your mat, okay, really tightly. The rest of you are going to do this setup where you have one brick like this and one brick like this, okay? You can all see that. And then, as you come down onto this.
Soraya, are there two Zoes? Are there two Zoes? Are there two Zoes on this call?
Ah, okay. So if you have got bricks, you're setting them up like this. If you haven't got bricks, you're rolling your mat up. Okay. So if you have the bricks, you're coming down over the bricks. So remember, you don't want to go too, it's really at the base of the neck. And what's quite nice here is if you, once you're on the bricks, is that you slightly push yourself, it's like you traction towards your head end, which draws everything down towards your hips, which is nice. And then you can rest your head, and then if you can't get your pelvis to touch the ground, use a block underneath, which will help. Then you're just laying the arms out on the side. Otherwise you're all the way down, laying the arms out. if you're on a rolled up mat, what you're doing, let me go and get one. Similar thing, so you start with the shoulders right up near the top end of the mat, and you traction yourself over until it's your shoulder blades that rest on the mat, and then you drop your pelvis down. So the important thing here is that you're not lifting the lower ribs up, that you're looking at dropping the lower ribs down. And then those of you that are on the rolled up mat, you can hold on to alternate elbows and extend the arms back, but keeping the lower ribs down. All of you should have your knees bent rather than straight. And turn the palms of the hands up. So Richard, if you're on bricks, take the arms alongside the body. And turn the palms up. And Sue, hold on to alternate ends of your elbows. That's it. Try and drop the lower ribs, those of you on your rolled up mats. So rolled up mat people, just change the clasp on the elbows. And those of you on the bricks, you're going to take your arms up towards the sky, palms facing one another, so they're shoulder width apart. Make the arms dynamic, and then take the arms back over the head as far as you can go, but keeping them straight. So some of you, they won't touch the ground. And rolled up mat people, you're going to slide yourself a little bit further over the rolled up mat now until it comes just under the shoulder blades. Brick people, stay where you are. So notice what is happening on your inner body as you do this. And release. Then roll over onto one side. And just shake out the rolled up mat or the bricks. And then come onto your back again. Just take a moment to notice what has happened to your body after doing that. And those of you with the rolled up mat, if you want to unroll it, the rest of you from here, with your shoulders down your back as a neck long, just extend one leg then the other. Coming into Shavasana. So finding a sense of balance on the earth, the pelvis, the shoulder blades, the back of the head. Being aware of your breathing. So you inhale and exhale. Each exhale allowing you to deepen your relaxation. So starting to deepen your breath. And really notice your inhalation and how the air is like cool as you breathe in. And the movement of the air as it travels through the nostrils, down the back of the throat, into the lungs. And as you exhale, the air is warm. So really being aware of this movement of your breath. The smallest plant life in spring reveals to us both the challenge of being a spirit in human form and the quiet courage necessary to grow inwardly. How often are we told you can't live on air? Yet, if we dare to make our way into the open, we are drawn into the light and air, and the rest somehow happens. For like the nuts of shoots yet to break ground, we can't help it. Something in our very fibre knows where the light is, even when we can't see it. My most profound experience of this was in the midst of my worst despair after being diagnosed with a tumour pressing on my brain. Inexplicably, despite the fear and terror of sadness, despite doctors and technicians telling me the worst of what they imagined for me, even though they didn't really know. Somehow, though I was digging deeper into the dark like a stubborn root, some essential vein of being was, for all that, growing towards the light. And I'm here to tell you, you can live on air. The light is our home. Mark Nepo. So just bringing gentle movement to fingers, toes, wrists and ankles. Raising one knee, then the other. Gathering the knees in towards you. Rocking gently. Eventually landing onto your right side. And making your way up into sitting. As always, taking a moment to offer deep gratitude to your body for your practice this morning. Thank you very much. Namaste.